to episode 2 of Hands On Gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and with me, as always, my good friend, Bastich B. How are you, mate?
I'm doing very good, and you?
Good, man. I'm excited, man. This is like our second episode.
Yeah, it's. I've been waiting for this for a while. I'm just amped to do more.
Yeah, it's thanks for the great feedback and support we've gotten on our first episode with Ninja. We really appreciate it. So yeah,
it's pretty cool. We got a lot of good comments. People voted for this episode.
Yeah,
and we got some cool comments also on the YouTube video. So thanks for that.
Yeah, props to you, Brendan. With that's like awesome. The video, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I think if some people just don't have access to listen to podcasts, so maybe just watching it on YouTube is easier, and you can listen. So you got the option of everything, really.
And I like how you did put video footage of the game playing while we're speaking about it. So that works really well. Works very well.
Yeah, so I think that's just fun,
Yeah. Okay, so going forward, I've mentioned on Twitter that we'll be reviewing a game before the main feature. It could be a classic game from yesteryear that one of us loved, or it can be a new homebrew or indie game of today. So we're just going to be fooling around with that idea. Just hopefully you guys enjoy that. And what is our game for review, Brendan?
So this one is called Arcade Daze. It came out on the Commodore 64 recently. If you were a Zap 64 Kickstarter and you bought the 2021 annual, you had the option of getting the physical version of that game with it. So it was made in conjunction with that. And but it was recently released digitally for everybody, and you can buy a physical copy now. And so Arcade Daze is made by Icon 64. Those guys just make absolutely awesome Commodore 64 games. It's a team of Trevor Story, Stuart Collier, and Sol Cross. They've just put out such good ones. They did Sizzler for the previous annual. They did Lords of Dragonspire. They've done a whole bunch of other cool things. Anyway, so Arcade Daze, the concept of it is like, it's almost like an arcade simulator mixed in with some arcadey kind of action. You are actually in an arcade and you run around and you can jump onto mini arcades in the game and play versions or clones of other arcade games.
Yeah.
And then also like the mini game around it is that you got to pick up money inside the arcade that's lying on the floor, and that gives you credits to, play the games. But there's also like a arcade bully that's going around, and if you run into her, she you lose a life or whatever, but she's constantly dropping coins. You pick them up, you play games. Your goal is to kind of beat every single arcade game, and therefore you become the king of the arcade and dethrone her. And so that's like the basic concept of it.
Yeah. There's also a stupid cat that stalls you. If you hit the cat and that bully gets you, you lose a life. So
yeah, her cat stuns you. So I don't know what the cat's doing in the arcade, but who cares? Anyway,
it's a big cat.
And there's 18 arcade games in there. There's not like 18 individual. A lot of them are like clones of arcade games. Like what I mean is like there's probably about 8 originals, and then there's variations on those, but it makes up about 18. And don't know if you want to mention which ones they kind of cloned in there.
Yeah, well, the clone games there are Frogger clones, Space Invader clones. I've put down Space Taxi / Lunar Lander. Just something about it reminds me of Space Taxi. I don't know. So, and there's Pac-Man clones, Centipede clones, which I really like. I like the Centipede ones a lot. And the Tank clones, which I wasn't a fan of at all. Yeah.
No, the Tank clone is the one that sticks out to me also. It felt clunky. I found the controls clunky for that one.
Yeah, the controls are very how can I say that you really have to be on point? Yeah, it's like pixel perfect.
Yes,
you get stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're going around like a corner, you get like
Mhm.
half caught on it and you get shot
You
and
get
it's
shot.
like
Yeah.
inadvertently die.
Mm.
But
Mm.
the other ones, all the other clones though, are pretty fun. I mean, I really liked the Lunar Lander versions, variations, and the Space Invaders ones. I really liked,
Yeah, they're my two
and
favorites.
the music is awesome in this game. It's really pumping. I like the intro music. It's got like the Pac-Man theme, and then it into like a kind of funky kind of, I don't know. It's just great.
It's got a bit of the Lazy Jones music in there too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's very similar to that. Actually, the game is very similar to that as
yeah.
well.
I found the music good, but I thought it got a bit annoying later because I mean I ended up completing the game, and when you've played it for so long, it just I think it grated on me a little
Right.
bit. It doesn't mean it was bad, but there wasn't. I didn't think there was much variation,
Yeah.
so it did drive me a little bit cuckoo. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, I kind of enjoyed it, but yeah, I totally get that. If they probably could have been like a couple more tunes in there. What I thought was cool though, I really liked the graphics in this game also. I
very
liked
good.
the mixture of like the just traditional Commodore 64 sprite work mixed in with that high res look when it goes into the arcade
Hmm.
games. I really like that. I mean, I know the Icon 64 guys do that quite a lot in their games. They use that mixture, and I think it works really well. It's like kind of an underused technique on the C64 to use both of those in a game. And did you know the arcade bully is based on Trevor Story, the guy that did the graphics? It's based on his wife.
Oh
I mean,
really? Oh,
that's who the arcade bully is.
that's
Yeah,
really
because he left a comment on my
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, yeah, he left a comment and said that. And if you read the what's it, the Zap 64 Kickstarter annual, then
Hmm.
it's got the making of the game, and if you read it, it's also in there, which I thought was hilarious.
That's pretty funny actually.
And I mean, who hasn't been to an arcade? And the every arcade I used to go to, I always remember like if you went to one frequently, you would always see like a certain one or two people. And then if you went there enough times, you would notice the arcade king, the
Yeah,
guy that used to like hang out there so much that he was like, his name would be on like three or four like the most popular machines,
yeah,
and he was always
yeah.
the king. So it's kind of like it was like kind of like back in the day
Hmm.
almost. I mean, it was pretty funny.
No, but yeah, overall, the premise of the game's great. It's like
Yeah.
it's games within games, and
Mm,
look,
mhm,
I mean, it's not the biggest game. It doesn't go for that long. There are two
mhm.
difficulty levels. It was like kiddie mode and advanced mode or something. I did try the advance. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got it's pumped up. I mean, I think kiddie mode is a bit difficult at times, but geez, the next level
Yeah.
up was it destroyed me. And of course, I went to the tank one first to see how that worked, and that was just nah, nah. The Space
Yeah.
Invader level and the Frogger levels they felt faster, but
Yeah.
look, overall, I really enjoyed it. It's well worth a purchase. Whoever's interested in the game, we'll put a link in the description so you can purchase it from there. So what,
Yeah.
we'll give our ratings. We've got a rating system here. Hands,
Hmm.
okay,
The
out
hands.
of 10. I give this game a 7 out of 10 hands.
7. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I
Mm,
would give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. I just like the combination of, like you said, games within
hmm.
games. That's always fascinated me.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I love Shenmue so much.
Hmm.
The arcade games within the game. I think that's such a cool idea. Also, I was really impressed though that the whole game is like a single load. Like if
Yeah.
you think about that,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That is a lot of stuff for a single load.
Hmm.
Like there's 18 arcade games and a game within a game.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I don't know how they did that, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's nuts. That
I'll
is
give it an
nuts.
eight.
Yeah,
Eight
I think
hands
fair
for
scare.
me.
8 hands.
8 hands.
Oh, jeez. Okay, cool bananas. All right. Now for the main feature. We did put up a vote on Twitter, and we had, what was it? The Untouchables. What was it?
We
Creatures,
had Batman the movie.
and Eagle's Nest, wasn't it?
Yeah, Into the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah. And
It was pretty close.
very, very. It was neck and neck for a long time. A long time.
Yeah, I was, like usually when you put up polls and stuff, it usually just slides one way or the other, and it's pretty much over like right at the beginning. But this was like neck and neck right to the bitter end.
Now, at one stage, I thought Into the Eagle's Nest was going to win.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have the final results here. Untouchables was at 22.8%. Creatures was 27.2%. Into the Eagle's Nest was 24.6%. Batman the movie was 25.4%. We had a total of 114 votes, which is amazing on our first poll. So
that's really good. Yeah, thanks for everybody that took part in that. That's awesome. I mean, we kind of had the ones that we wanted, secretly wanted to pop up, but we had to just like hold back and just see what happens.
Well, that's right.
All of them are games. All of them are games we want to look at anyway.
That's right. Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. So look, we'll probably put a couple of those back up on a poll at a later date, or we just might pick one ourselves. Look, we've decided that we'll do a poll every 2 episodes. So we'll give you guys a chance to pick the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So it's Creatures. Can we talk about Creatures before we get into the nitty gritty?
Yeah. So this is a fantastic classic 8-bit game that came out originally on the Commodore 64 in 1990. It was published by Thalamus. And you know them from all their wonderful games. And
many wonderful games.
So many. I can't even think of one just because I'm game retarded right now. But,
Snare, funny enough, stands out for me. Absolutely love Snare.
Snare, really?
I love Snare.
Snare's the one I don't like.
Oh, get good, mate. Get good, because that's about... I love puzzle games, and I feel it's a puzzle game in a sense.
That's why you like clacks.
I love clacks. I
hate clacks.
How can you not like clacks, man? I love clacks. I love Tetris. Tetris is my second favorite video game of all time. And
Tetris is fun.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you would have been in trouble if you didn't like Tetris. But anyway, yeah.
Super puzzle platter. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I love Snare.
Armalite. That's what I'm... That's
great.
That's my favorite Thalamus game.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant shoot 'em up.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Anyway, where were we?
Thalamus. Creatures, yeah.
It was made by Thalamus, yes. It was developed by Apex Computer Productions. Those are the Roland brothers, John and Steve. You want to say anything about those guys?
Magicians. They are magicians.
Definitely.
Amazing work on the C64. How they pushed that machine back then is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's like if you look at their games, even if you look at their games now, they're in a league of their own compared to the old stuff, and even the new stuff that's come out, they still like leagues ahead, just in terms of like graphics and gameplay. It's just like amazing. Anyway, so Creatures is basically, when it comes down to gameplay, is like a side-scrolling platform kind of action game. It's also got these kind of torture screens, which are kind of like puzzle stages where you got to figure out something before a creature dies to save him. So those are like switches up the gameplay a little bit. It's also got a few little variations in there. Also, like there's like swimming stages which change up the gameplay a little bit, but for the most part, it is like kind of a side-scrolling platform game with action elements. You got to save the fuzzy wuzzies. and from some bad guy. I don't know the the full history of the story. It's just like you just got to save these dudes and get back to your village at the end. And that pretty much wraps it up for like what it's about. It's got 6 stages overall, and but each one's broken down into two. So it feels like you're playing like 12 stages. It's actually a really big game if you think about it when you play it. And it's also got 3 torture screens that are spread out throughout the game. And those kind of just break up the gameplay a bit. Those are actually my favorite parts.
Likewise, they're my favorite parts of the game.
They are really like exceptionally well done. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of Creatures, what it's about.
Yeah, and it was first made for the C64. So
yeah,
we'll get into that. Hey, now it's been a long time since I played this, so it was nice to get a refresher. Man, it's hard. Now, that's
hard.
One thing I forgot how hard it actually is.
Yeah.
This is one I liked back in the day. I did prefer the sequel because I wasn't more of a fan of the torture screens. So I didn't play this as much as the sequel. But
yeah,
damn, it's so hard. Fun, still fun. Now, overall, look, I think the graphics were gorgeous. They did a fantastic job. The music, wow, amazing. During the obviously
so
intro
good.
title screen, which was it's a bit disappointing because there's no music in game. Hopefully, we'll find out why that isn't the case later in the later episode. Hopefully, but the chip really gives the C64 a workout with the title tune. I think it's pumping. I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought the controls were tight, but the pixel perfect jumping drove me insane. It's just, you really had...
That's a bit of an issue.
big issue, and I think it's an issue with all versions here. The game was difficult, but I think once you grasp everything, it does flow pretty well. Some enemies I thought were just, they took a bit too long to kill. I think it was a bit overkill, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just, and it slows the pace. I think it slows the pace down of the game, and you want to keep moving. Yeah, I know things are meant to be hard, but I think especially those turtle monster guys in the balloon, it's like a bit much. I think it just
those guys, yeah.
I think to kill them, like, I mean, it was easy to dodge them, and you just had to shoot from a distance and kill them, but you're shooting for a long time, and like I said, I think that slowed it down. But,
yeah, what I found with those guys is that you just use the flame on them. You only have to hit him like twice with the flame, and then he dies. So there's a quicker way of doing it, but it also, like, you feel like you're fighting a boss every time you see one of those dudes, and it definitely slows it down. I agree.
But I love the look of Clyde. I think he looks really good in this. I love they use the C64's aesthetics to make him look the way he is, which we'll talk about later with the 16-bit versions. But look, overall, I liked it. I did. I really liked it. Like I said, I do prefer the sequel. I think the sequel is a better game.
Yeah.
But no, overall, it's a tight game. It's done well. It looks beautiful. Besides the drawbacks of no in-game music and perfect pixel jumping, I'd say, and probably some of the difficulty. I'd say the game is well worth a play even now. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think the C64 version, you have the option to have in-game music or not.
Is there?
Yeah, so you can have sound effects or in-game music.
Oh, I didn't see
So
that.
I always put on the music when I play the C64 one.
Okay, my bad.
The other ones though, the other ones had, I think the ST one has no music.
No,
anyway, we'll get to
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that anyway. Yeah, the music's pumping.
Okay, my bad. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that you could do music or sound effects. Okay.
Yeah, right at the beginning when it's just before you start the stage, it shows like a little map. I think if you it's got an option right in the bottom corner to turn on sound effects or music. So
Ah,
that's where you
okay.
do it. I mean, you can actually totally miss that if you.
Well, I did because I did not know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah. The game's got so much flashy text in it that you
Yeah.
can easily miss anything in that game.
Yeah. And I realized I probably should have known. I could have looked in the manual.
Yeah.
So and I didn't. So my bad, I guess.
Well, you got some cool tunes to listen to then.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So what else do you have to say about the C64? What was your
Uh,
perception?
yeah, so C64 version. Oh man, I loved it. It has a lot of the issues which you mentioned, but I'll just go with my stuff for now. Like graphics are just beautiful. They're so colorful. I love the colorful look of it. Some nice parallax scrolling. I did like the fact that there's a lot of variety with the actual creatures in the game,
Hmm.
like the guys you go up against. In the beginning, you think there's only like 3 or 4 variations, but when you get much further in the game, you realize that there is a ton of different types of enemies, and they all got their own little weird kind of pattern and
Yeah.
like
Even the way they look so
idiosyncrasies.
goofy, don't they? It's hilarious.
They're
Yeah.
so goofy, but,
Yeah.
but they're so damn deadly. You just look
Yeah.
at them and you
Yeah.
die. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, and the animation, especially in the torture screens, is so good. Especially, I remember when I used to play it back in the day. We used to purposely let your little dude die
Oh
just so we
yeah.
could see like
The
the
blood.
death animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blood, the chainsaw blood, and the animation on that's fantastic. But the torture screens are by far the best part of this game. Like once you figure them out, like initially you don't know what the hell's going on when you get to them, and you're kind of confused as to
Hmm.
what you have to do. But as soon as you start figuring it out, it's just really clever the way it works.
Yeah.
Like like it doesn't require any special gameplay technique to be added to the game, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Like you can like everything you can do in the platform stages you use to solve the puzzle. So it's not like they're adding extra gameplay, which makes things confusing sometimes. Like you can use like the flame to push stuff and
Hmm.
shoot like a rock to move it and that kind of thing. So it's all pretty logical. So I think it's like it's the gameplay is very clever in those
It's a
stages.
puzzle. It's a puzzle. It's got the puzzle
Yeah,
element in there.
yeah,
So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. I think the timer on the the torture stages is a little bit too fast. Like there's like
Get good.
especially like the the first one, holy cow, you really have to like, just bolt through that thing. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't know exactly what you're doing, you're dead instantly. So yeah. And also another gameplay element which I don't understand in this game um, is the timer for the platform stages. Why I don't understand why there's a timer on it.
Yeah. That shouldn't
It
be there.
just it shouldn't even be there because there's nothing you can really exploit in the game
Yeah.
to change things that I could figure out. You're basically just going through the stage,
Hmm.
from A to B. So why is it trying to like force you to go
Yeah.
faster? I mean, I guess it just wants to kill you, but I don't think it's really necessary.
I agree.
I didn't really find problem with running out of time though, but still it's kind of annoying looking down and seeing that timer ticking
Hmm.
down when you're
Hmm.
trying to make a precision jump
Yeah.
and you like fall off like 3 times. You know
Yeah.
what I
It's
mean?
it's not it's it's not like it's an arcade game, so it
Yeah,
doesn't need to
yeah,
be there.
yeah,
Personally, yeah.
yeah. It's a little bit weird, but
Yeah.
anyway, the music is super bubbly, toe tapping fun. I absolutely loved it. That intro tune is fantastic, and even the way like the whole intro pops in, with crushing the little
Yeah.
dudes
It's
and
cool.
and stuff. Has by far the best intro out of all these versions because the other ones like they don't even have like the sound effects is gone. There's no like crushing
Hmm.
sound. It's really strange. It's like all like the fun of it is taken out of it. But on the
Yeah.
C64 version, it really like it's got like a whistling sound as the title falls down and
Hmm.
smashes the dudes. It's just like it's got so much more character to it.
Love. There's more love in the C64
Yeah,
version. You can
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
tell.
Like you
Yeah.
said, like the Clyde character, you can actually see his personality just from
Hmm.
his little 8-bit, like the way he stands and the way he
Yeah.
looks. The other versions, we'll get to those. Like he's just like, he's not even the same character. It just looks like
Mm-hmm.
some bland cut and paste job, but the original guy, you can see he's got that personality. It's something about the way it's like the sprites are drawn or whatever. Gameplay, yeah, gameplay, exactly what you said. You know, there's some really fiddly jumping. It kind of it gets annoying sometimes. You have to be really precise, and even taking out some of the creatures, you have to be in the exact right place to fire on them. Otherwise, you just can't get them, and
Yeah.
it just makes it really difficult. The underwater stages also, you got to be really, really precise.
I like
Otherwise, it's
those
just
though.
death.
I like
Yeah,
those.
they are fun, but man, you got to be precise in those stages. And yeah, I really liked it overall. It's it's a game that I bought back in the day. I still got my original copy of it, and
Same.
you know, it's just super cool. I got it on cassette, so you know, I loaded that thing up so many times, and just hearing that music again, like in the intro, just takes me back. I just
It's great. It's great.
it's so much fun. It's just such a fun game. And yeah, love it. Love it.
No, they
I
did
don't know what
well.
else to say about it.
Well, I know what else I can say. We can go to the next version now. So yeah, 64 version gets a thumbs up from us.
Definitely.
We'll go into Atari ST. Woof.
Okay.
Woof. Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
I don't have to say about this. Look,
how the mighty have fallen.
I know. We're told by John that they didn't do these. These were done by contractors, obviously.
Yeah.
Look, I think overall the graphics are nice. Clyde looks strange though. It's like he waddles. It doesn't. It's funny.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what it is.
It's very weird. Great music on the title screen, I think. I think it's all right. Controls I thought were tight as well. I think they did well. The pixel perfect jumping drives me insane. It's back in there again.
Yeah.
What I think the Atari ST had that no other version had was the amount of slowdown when the amount of sprites were on there. This thing chugged like a oh,
yeah.
Jeez. Gotta watch my language. I was gonna say something really bad there. Yeah, it chugged really badly, and that really messed with the gameplay. Game was difficult, but I think once you get the grasp of it again, it's an enjoyable game. The lack of music during game, because couldn't hear anything play, does make things less enjoyable. What can I say? Overall, it's very bland. Look, I think it would have been okay if the C64 version never existed, because you wouldn't be able to compare it with anything. But look, I mean, it's not a very good effort. I think they missed the ball on that. They really did. They dropped the ball on this version.
Yeah.
It's just. I think I played in STE mode. I think that's the only version it works in. I think it needs extra RAM, but mate, it needs more RAM. I tell you, because this thing chugged like so badly. I don't recommend it. If you're gonna play any version, you'd play the 64s anyway. Yeah, down with the Atari ST version, unfortunately. Look, I think when you look at the screenshots, it looks okay, but it
actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, but it plays like a dog. It's not very good at all.
Yeah, the ST one for me is like by far the worst. It doesn't even it's not even the same ballpark as the other ones. It's strange. It's the weirdest thing for me about it. It didn't really affect the gameplay, but it's just strange. Is that they turned it into a flip screen affair. It doesn't scroll.
Yes. You're right.
It's kind of weird. Like, why did that happen? And it's like, couldn't the ST do a scrolling game? Like, what? Who programmed this? It's like, what's going on here?
As far as I know, Atari ST has trouble with hardware scrolling. So, Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I
It's
didn't
got
know that.
it's got the Android CPC disease.
Yeah. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, it's on its
So
fault.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, it doesn't scroll. So the game's a flip screen. It doesn't affect the gameplay really. It's still kind of the same game, except it just flips when you get to the end of the screen. You can't go back though, but then the other versions you can't either. You can't scroll backwards.
Yes,
Like
I was
if you
going to
miss,
mention that. Yeah.
like if there's a fuzzy and he's up in the corner and you decide to take a low path or something, you actually can't go back and get him. So you're kind of screwed. So you got to plan your
Yeah,
route a
I
little
really
bit.
don't understand that because that's in all three versions. I don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
why they did that. I don't get it because it's really frustrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I don't think you can get all of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Unless you like really plan it. I don't know. You'd have to look closely at that. But yeah, it's a flip screen game. Um, I noticed that the intro it doesn't have sound effects, which I mentioned just earlier. It's the title just drops in and then the music kicks in. It seems like
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
rushed.
It seems like a lack of effort.
Yeah, it's
Like
rushed.
they just couldn't be bothered with putting
Hmm.
a sound effect in there. And the music too, the ST's music is by far the worst. I mean,
Still
it's the
sound
same.
okay. I think it sounded alright though.
It's the same tune as the C64 one, but it's just got no bass to it. It
Hmm.
just sounds very like tinny.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's like it sounds like it's like recorded on a tin drum or
yeah.
something.
There's no bottom
But
end. There's no bottom end
no,
whatsoever.
no, no. And there's no music in the game because I couldn't find any option
Okay,
for music in game. It was sound effects only,
okay.
which is which definitely like sucks some of the enjoyment out of it.
Hmm.
Slow down, yes, big time. It's pretty rampant, and there doesn't even have to be too many characters on screen
No,
before it
no.
starts to chug, which is pretty bad. And that sound effect, which I think we'll just leave for the Amiga
Yeah,
version
okay.
because
We'll leave it for that.
it's the exact same sound effect. Anyway, it's awful. But we'll get to that. There's one thing I liked about the ST version, and it's also in the Amiga one, is that when you die, you start exactly where you died.
Yeah,
You
that's good.
respawn right
Yeah.
there. The C64 one, you have to be quite a ways into a level.
It's like
Um,
checkpoints. 64 version got
Yeah,
like checkpoints.
it's like invisible checkpoints, and
Yeah.
if you die at a certain point, you go all the way back to the beginning, which they really grates on me. But
Yeah.
the ST and the Amiga one, though, you start exactly there, which is cool. But there's really not much else I can really say about it. The graphics are almost identical to the Amiga, but they just well, I'll talk more about the Amiga graphics and
Yeah.
explain
Cool.
what I actually think about them. But they're very, very similar. They're almost exactly the
Hmm.
same. Overall, I wouldn't recommend this game. I mean, if you're an ST owner, I would say sell your ST and buy a Commodore 64.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you said, if the C64 version didn't exist, this would be okay. But because it does, this looks terrible,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't recommend it.
It's strange, hey. Stronger hardware doesn't always mean a better game.
No,
Yeah.
it's weird. But
Mm.
like Thalamus struggled with their 16-bit versions of their games. Like if you look at all their 8-bit versions, like their C64 stuff,
Hmm.
and then you look at their 16-bit versions of those games, there's a lot of like have you ever played the Amiga version of Armalite?
No, I haven't. I didn't think I
Don't.
needed to. I didn't think I needed
Yeah.
to, so I never did.
Yeah, it's just it's awful. So and
I
it's
think it's
just
the same with
weird.
System
Like
3. They did the same thing. They're better on
yes,
the
System
8-bit, well,
3.
664, but
It's
since you go
yeah,
Amiga,
you're totally right. Like
yeah.
it's exactly the same thing. They
Mm.
just didn't know how to do it. Like
Mm.
there was that transition from 8 to 16-bit where those companies just didn't know what to do with the games,
Yeah.
and they just don't have the same kind of vibe.
No, no.
Yeah, weird.
So that's Atari ST. So that's a thumbs down. No hands there, that's for sure.
Let's cut those hands off.
cut them off. Okay, let's go to the Amiga. Okay. I remember playing this actually back in the day. A friend of mine had it. and he was boasting how much better it plays and looks. And I went there and I'm like, well, you know, I was getting a bit jealous. Yeah, as you would. As a C64
back in the day,
owner, you know, sometimes you would be jealous of the Amiga. Even sometimes if the Amiga version was better, you still say 64 version's a better version of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because those rose tinted glasses stay on, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, he loaded it up and I'm like, oh, okay, geez, this looks nice. Then it's like I played, I go, dude, this is not better than the 64 version. I was like, yes, it is. Look how good it looks. Okay, yeah, it might look better, but it doesn't play better. And he finally admitted defeat, and he realized later. Look, the graphics are nice. They're like the ST. Again, you know, Clyde looks like he's waddling self. He just looks strange. It just looks exaggerated. He looks strange. There's in-game music in this, but there's a problem with it. For some reason, and I don't know if it's due to the Amiga sound, but when you shoot, the music cuts out.
Oh, that's so annoying.
And sometimes you think, is it better off just to have no music then? Yeah, so we'll show you. Well, we'll quickly go to you, Brendan, about the shooting, right? You want me to play it, or are you going to explain first?
Let me just explain it for 1 second. Yeah. So, for whatever reason, they got the sound effect for Clyde when he shoots on the Amiga. It sounds like bubbles popping, but man, is it annoying, and it's loud, and it cuts out the. Anyway, play it.
That's really bad. That's like,
you know. So when you're playing this game, obviously you're shooting a lot. So just imagine that sound in your head, like just constant.
It gives you a headache.
It does. It actually, it really made me get angry. Anyway, back to you.
But I did find the Amiga version's music did remind me of Robocod on the Amiga. It had that Robocod-ish feel to it. So that was jolly. It sounded good. It doesn't sound good when that happens. So I think the controls, you know what? I might get shot for this, but I think the controls feel the best out of the 3 versions on this one. I don't know why.
No, I totally agree with you.
It's strange, isn't it?
Too.
It's forgiving.
It feels just a little bit more smooth, like gameplay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it definitely does. It's still got the annoyance of the precision, but it definitely feels the smoothest.
What else do I have here? Look, I did find it playable. It wasn't unplayable at all. My biggest gripe was the music and sound effects clashing. Now, what I did find in all 3 versions that really pissed me off. I think, I don't know, look, I think it was a silly decision to do. Maybe there's a technical issue why this happened, but at the top of the screen, it doesn't, the top of the screen acts as like a roof, like there's a ceiling, and some jumps are just ridiculously hard. So you can't do a long jump, even though there's the sky above you, it stops you. Did you notice that?
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Go back and you'll see what I mean. I mean, there's like a big jump you need to do at the top of the screen, but it doesn't let you jump all the way up because it hits the top of the screen. And all 3 versions do that, and it's just really, again, that's a deal breaker. It really makes things very, very difficult. And like you said before, this version as well suffers from that. If you go too far in the screen, you can't go back sometimes too. And that really, I think that's another downfall with this game. But overall, look, it's hard. Look, it's easy to be harsh on this version, I think. It's not as bad as the ST. It's not as good as a C64, but I think if you had this back in the day, I think you'd be quite pleased Again, if you've never played the C64 version, it's not that bad. There's no slowdown in this. Like I said, I think the controls were the best out of all three on this one.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think it is. The Amiga version is just it's hands down superior over the Atari ST version. That's what I think. But yeah, that's my take on the Amiga.
Yeah, so for me, it's a very similar take. The graphics they're really good. I really like them. I'm not really usually a fan of that kind of style, that kind of, it almost looks too smooth and slick for me. I like a little bit of chunkiness, but you gotta give it to them. It looks really nice. The torture screens particularly look exceptionally good. The detail in there is great. Music, it's renditions of the C64 one. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It just, again, it sounds like the ST one where there's no bass in the actual, the sound.
Okay.
The C64 versions have like such a strong bass where it's like it really makes your head bop while you're listening to them.
Yeah.
And the Amiga ones, the bass is all gone and it's got that tinny sound again. The tunes are there, but they just lack a little bit of like power to them. I don't know what was happening there. It's got that kind of it's got that Amiga kind of keyboard synth sound, that usual one, which is the reason why you like Amiga music, right? If you like that sound, you really like it, but it doesn't sound as good in my opinion anyway. But the sound effects, obviously, that bubble sound, I don't know.
There you go.
God, give me a headache again. Like how could they possibly have played this and been like satisfied with that? Like without like one of the programmers turning to the other guy and saying, "Dude, what the hell?" Like it's just crazy. It's so annoying. Like and the music disappearing every time you fire. It's so weird. Like
I think that's the worst part about this version is that.
Yeah. You either have the music or you don't. Like, if it's going to cut out on every sound effect, then you might as well just not even have it because it's pointless. It just makes it even more annoying.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, though, like we said earlier, I think it actually plays the best. It's just a little bit more smoother when you play it than the C64 one. The jumping just feels smoother. The firing feels a little bit smoother. Everything just feels a little bit better.
Refined, you could say.
A little bit refined, a little bit refined. Otherwise, it's still got the same issues, though, like the precision jumping, which is annoying. And enemies that require way too many shots to take down. And what I did like, I forgot to even mention this. I don't know if the other versions have it, but on the C64 version, when you shoot certain enemies, there's certain enemies you can't actually kill.
Yeah.
It actually gives like a hard sound effect. It's like a tinny sound.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I think that was there to try and like let you know that you actually can't kill that creature. And then you had to dodge it, like just go around it or whatever. So I thought that was pretty clever. I don't remember if the any of the other versions did that. I don't think so.
No, but there is actually spots where there's a crazy amount of enemies, and if you kill a certain enemy on the screen that's probably hidden, it actually kills the whole area of enemies, so you can go through. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never had that happen.
Yeah, there's a couple of sections. All versions did the same thing. Remember, there's a bit that you're on the leaf, and if you go across, there's like enemies. Like, there's no way you can dodge it. You have to be like crazy. And there's a guy in a balloon as well over the water. It's like, this is insane. There's a top area where there's like a little monster hiding in the corner. You use your flame, it goes through the wall, kills him, and then it destroys all the enemies in that area. I thought that's really, really smart.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't even, maybe I did that back in the day, but I definitely didn't do it when I was replaying these now. Yeah, that's clever. What else about the Amiga? Smooth. overall, I think like I said, the graphics are great, but there's definitely in the Amiga and ST version it just it doesn't have character for some reason. Like even the like Clyde doesn't have character. He feels like he's a cut and paste graphic that's been put onto something. And even the creatures you go up against, they feel like they just cut and paste characters, and they don't have that kind of like momentum or like the way they walk.
Yeah.
Everything just seems like it's almost like a lack of caring when you made it. Like you just wanted to make it. Like try copy the Commodore 64 version quickly and
It's
ship it out.
Cash in.
Yeah, a cash in kind of deal. So like, there's definitely not as much passion when it came to the characters, all of them, and even in the torture screens, there's not as much there's not as much character in what's happening, even though it looks nice. Like visually, if you look at it quickly, the screenshots make it look beautiful, but when you actually play it, it's not as impressive, but it's still done well.
Yeah, I think
So
I think the
yeah.
Atari ST is the biggest cash in out of them all. I think they would have took their time
Definitely.
a little bit with the Amiga and said, okay, let's just chuck this on the ST, and bad luck whoever buys it.
Yeah. I think the Amiga version came out in 93. I might be wrong on that. So it came out quite a few years afterwards.
Wow, that's late.
And in 93, I did a documentary on Thalamus, and I'm pretty sure 93 was the end of Thalamus. So it must have just creeped out the door before they shut down.
Okay.
And the ST version, I think it also came out in 93. I'm just guessing.
Let's have a look. Amiga 93, Atari ST 92.
Oh, 92. It came out before that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow.
Well, that's what Wikipedia says, so you can't always believe a Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yeah, so it came out like right at the end of, like, when Thalamus was literally closing their doors. So,
yeah.
And I found a review, like the reviews for the Amiga version were pretty strange. They were all over the place.
Okay.
They were, you got some 80%, and then you got like a lot of mid kind of 50s, 60s. And then you got like Amiga Power, which gave it 20%.
That's a bit
which
harsh.
I think is that's a bit harsh. They said it had this is what they said. They had terrible controls. Gameplay is tedious. The sound effects suck. Okay, I agree with the last one. But,
yeah. I think they were playing the Atari ST
and terrible
version.
controls. Yeah, what version were you playing?
Yeah.
So yeah, Amiga Power, I think they were way off the mark. For me, it's a good game, but again, if you've played the C64 version, it's definitely like nowhere near the league of it. But if you were buying this as an Amiga owner in 93 and you hadn't played that, I guess this would be a decent platform game. I think you would have some fun with it, and so it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
It's just okay. It's just okay.
Especially if you're in the 16-bit era at that time in 93, you're playing the Amiga version of Creatures, then you're looking at the Mega Drive and you see Sonic the Hedgehog, you'd be like, oh, okay, what's going on here? It's a big leap, you know what I mean? But there's not to say that it's a bad game, because I'm not talking about the C64 version. I think that's the superior version. But, yeah. So, yeah, overall, C64 wins out for me, though. Besides the controls, which the Amiga, I think, has one step ahead of the C64. Besides that, I think the 64 version is the best one.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just got like some sort of charm. Like it's got that care that went into it. Character, like way more than the others. You can tell, the Rolands really loved making that game.
Yeah.
I would assume it means,
Yeah.
They love making that game, but the other ones are definitely like cash jobs. Like Thalamus threw a check at somebody and like they pumped it out.
Yeah.
That's definitely the way those were made.
There you go. So that's it.
Mm.
We're done.
That's it. Already?
Well, it's only 3 ports, so
yeah,
that's all we got. That's all we have. I wonder what we have for the next episode then, hey? You're yet to pick a game, so...
Oh my goodness, so many games to choose from.
Yeah.
I don't even know what game to choose, seriously.
Okay. Well,
I don't even know what system.
Yeah, ball's in your court, mate. Ball's in your court. So
Wow.
we'll leave it at that.
What system are you interested in? Let me put it that way.
Mate, I'm always into, vintage computers. So, but look, it doesn't mean you can't go Mega Drive, SNES, TurboGrafx. You know what I mean? You can go anything.
Yeah.
So, because we're all hands-on gaming.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, there you go. I've got a perfect sound effect for that. I should have cued it in at the right time. Where is it? Because we're hands-on gaming. I gotta love my cheesy sound effects.
Yeah, you got to add more of those. They're hilarious. I got a lot of good comments on the YouTube channel about the sound effect for the previous episode. Nice. that horrible transition sound from the everybody thought that was hilarious.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
Whoops! I changed the sound on that. We got back to that popping noise.
Yeah.
Oh, cool bananas. Okay, we'll finish up the show. Again, thank you to everyone who jumped on board and listened to our first episode. We're glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you to Gary Arnott for doing our podcast icons. And also a big thank you to Jerome Tell for letting us use his music, his Cybernoid music.
Yes, big thank you for that.
Yeah, awesome guy. Thanks so much for that. And until next time, guys. Again, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Yeah. Cheers.